So whenever I enter the classrooms, kids always are bursting with energy because they have a question that's just been on their hearts and their minds for so long, like how do dinosaurs and Adam and Eve work, or how, what does the church say about this or that? So I thought it'd be really cool to offer that to the rest of the parish. So if you have anything that you want to ask a priest, Father Fred or myself will be available for you to ask questions of. The first one that I'll answer is, what made me want to be a priest? And this is a question that's been asked me of several times, and it goes back to when I was a kid. I was maybe 3 or 4, and I remember creating homilies in my head as a kid. And my dad was into John Wayne movies, so I told my mom I want to be a priest, a cowboy, and a movie director. And obviously the others didn't work out. But it was always from then on this desire to be a priest. When I got into grammar school, girls became a thing, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll get married, I'll teach, and that's what I'll do. So I went on to study English, was an English major, and I went to a small Catholic school and got involved, and I was doing the retreat program, and somebody said, hey, this other person is also thinking about a priest, also named Matt, you should talk to him. And at the time, he was just a psych major, and he's like, hey, the only way to truly figure out if God is calling you is to develop your prayer life. Start going to daily mass, start going to adoration. So I started doing that, and I'll tell you Matt's story because we're intertwined. So Matt was a psych major at the time, and he had looked at the Diocese of Joliet and hadn't worked out for various reasons, so he was feeling kind of burned by the whole process, the whole experience. Anyway, he was heading up the retreat, and after a planning session, he was the last one in campus ministry, and in walked the vocation director. The vocation director is in charge of finding new priests. This is the era of MapQuest, and so he was lost, and he was looking for somebody to give him directions. So Matt prints him off directions, and they start talking, and the vocation director gives him his card, and he says, hey, we're always looking for good volunteers, always looking for good priests, good guys to be priests. Here's my card. Matt takes the card, and he prays, and he goes and he says, if you want this to happen, you have to make the appointment for me. I won't make it myself. I don't know that any of this has happened. I'm in adoration. There was people I could have been dating that I wasn't dating because I wanted to figure it out, so I said, should I pursue marriage? Should I pursue priesthood, marriage, priesthood? And the line from John's Gospel came to me in adoration, feed my lambs, feed my sheep, feed my lambs. And I just remember feeling this overwhelming sense of peace. And I talked to a priest on campus, and he said, you need to talk to the vocation director. So as a preamble to trying to get the vocation director to understand how I got to this moment in prayer, I said, this other guy encouraged me to start going to daily mass and to adoration. And so, from that, I had this major prayer experience. And he said, well, if possible, I'd like to meet with both of you. So that night, the same night that Matt had prayed the prayer about somebody else making the appointment for him, without talking to him about it, and without knowing that had happened, I made the appointment for both of us to meet with the vocation director, and the rest is history. After graduating college, I entered seminary, and there we go. I did 6 years of seminary at Mundelein. First assignment was I was ordained in 2016. First assignment was Christ the King. I just recently was at St. Clement after that, and I'm so glad to be with you all.